And I expect most times you get a coaching change, you think, hey, give him a couple of years, go through the process. If you look at Harbaugh, his record, he wins right away. We all know he's going to succeed.
Despite benefiting from high-level quarterback play for well over a decade, life has been far from easy for the LA Chargers fans. Their team has become synonymous with embarrassing mishaps and inconsistent play, culminating in just 3 playoff appearances in the last 13 years. After a dismal 5-12 record landed them in last place in 2023, something had to change. It was time for a grown-up to enter the building and be a hero, and that man is Jim Harbaugh, and his Chargers are about to stun the NFL. After the arrival of Justin Herbert in the 2020 draft, fans of the Chargers would have been feeling pretty good about themselves. Herbert was a shining light on offense, winning Offensive Rookie of the Year award and blasting the team's Super Bowl window wide open. And on the other side of the ball, Brandon Staley had arrived as head coach to shore up the defense and complete the well-rounded team that was required to take it up to the Chiefs in the AFC West. After a decade of inconsistent play and no division title, surely success was right around the corner. Not quite. Under Brandon Staley, the Chargers never found an identity and continued to falter. Their painful inconsistencies and decline resulted in his firing halfway through the 2023 season. This marked the end of a sorry 13-year stretch in which the Chargers have had just 7 winning seasons and 3 playoff appearances, despite enjoying the services of both Philip Rivers and Justin Herbert as the league's most important position throughout that period. In hiring Jim Harbaugh, the LA Chargers bring in a vast treasure trove of experience and a leader who has always got the best out of his team everywhere he's been. He won back-to-back titles as the head coach of San Diego in 2005 and 2006, which earned him a position at the University of Stanford. Here, he took on a 1-11 record and turned them into a dominant force, securing a 12-1 record just 3 years later that still stands as the best record for the university since 1940. This incredible season also included the team's first bowl game and win in 13 years. From here, Harbaugh made the jump into the pro game, taking over a San Francisco 49er team that had gone 8 years without a winning record. His impact was dramatic immediately, leading the team to a 13-3 record and an NFC Championship game appearance. 1 year later, they took it one better to make it to the Super Bowl, where Harbaugh's 49ers lost in heartbreaking fashion to his brothers, Baltimore Ravens. After a couple more years in San Francisco and another NFC Championship game loss, Harbaugh took his talents back to the college game, where he overtook a 5-7 Michigan record and took them to a national championship winners in 2023. It was a story of steady improvement for Harbaugh's Wolverines, culminating in a dominant 15-0 record to go along with the national title. Harbaugh is a winner, and that is exactly what the Chargers need. One of the main reasons that he has had such success, and another reason why he is the perfect man for LA, is that he instills a clear identity in his team. Harbaugh football is tough, physical, and disciplined, known for emphasis on the run game and efficiency in the passing game. This is the game plan that has earned him so much success over the years, and he isn't hiding the fact that he plans to carry it over into his second stint in the NFL. His primary free agent additions have been physical north-south running backs and blocking tight ends. His top 5 pick was spent on arguably the best offensive lineman in the draft, and his second rounder was spent on arguably the best route runner in the draft. Harbaugh even brought in his brother's old offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, who spent 3 years with the Baltimore Ravens and turned them into one of the league's best rushing teams. Jim Harbaugh and general manager Joe Horitz have quickly transformed this team into a roster that is ready to deliver on Harbaugh's tried and tested method. They wanted size, physicality, and violence, and now they've got it. The question is it enough to topple the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West? It's fair to say that we might need at least one more year of rebuilding before we can question whether the Chargers can legitimately rival the Chiefs. With Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid at the helm, the Kansas City Chiefs have embarked on a dynasty that doesn't look like it's going to be stopping anytime soon. The 2023 season was the first time in a while that they might have shown any signs of vulnerability on offense, and they still managed to win the Super Bowl. That doesn't bode well for the AFC rivals given the additions they have made on offense and the ability to retain both Chris Jones at defensive tackle and Steve Spagnuolo as defensive coordinator. The defense is what carried them through the majority of last year, and there is still more than enough talent on the roster to suggest that next year's Super Bowl is only theirs to lose. Nevertheless, there is still a lot for Chargers fans to be excited about. They have some developing to do before they can worry about rivaling the Chiefs, and they look very well set up to progress during their first season under Harbaugh. The Chargers were the 24th in NFL when it came to rushing yards per game last year with just 96.6. 2024 will be all about honing in on that aspect of the offense. The arrival of Gus Edwards in free agency gives the Chargers a tough and physical between-the-tackles rusher who has averaged over 5 yards per carry in every year of his career, apart from one. In Baltimore last year, he punched in 13 touchdowns, so he certainly has a nose for the end zone. J.K. Dobbins also made the trip over from Baltimore, but his guaranteed money is very low, and he could be very well quickly overtaken on the depth chart by rookie Kimani Vidal, who was taken in the 6th round. Vidal is a powerful runner who sacked up 1,661 yards at 5.6 yards per carry in his final season at Troy. He adds youth to an experienced running back stable that should see plenty of work, which means I wouldn't be surprised if he plays a big role as a rookie. Another key signing for the Chargers in free agency was Will Dissly from Seattle. A career high of 349 yards won't have Chargers fans particularly excited, but that is not the reason for his arrival. Dissly was signed for his effectiveness in the run game, having registered the 3rd best run blocking grade for a tight end in 2023, behind only George Kittle and Charlie Warner in San Francisco. He is the ideal tight end for Harbaugh's system and someone who will be popular with the running backs. Of course, any team that wants to dominate in the run game needs a good offensive lineman, and thanks to the selection of Joe Alt with the 5th overall pick, the Chargers may have ended up with the best tackle combination in the entire NFL. Alt is a 6'9" giant who perfectly fits the mold of what Harbaugh wants in his offensive lineman. Not only does he tower over his opposition, but having spent a good chunk of his early career at tight end, he displays light feet and freakish movement skills for someone of his size.
I know the question is going to come up, and you're going to say, what about a weapon? What about a offensive lineman? We look at as weapons.
And solidifying the offensive lineman with him is Pro Bowl tackle Rashawn Slater, which puts the Chargers in a very luxurious position, locking in 2 of the most important positions on the roster for many years to come. This presence will massively benefit the running backs and will allow them to attack both sides of the line with confidence. And on top of that, Chargers fans can be pretty confident that their superstar quarterback Justin Herbert will be one of the better protected signal callers in the NFL over the coming years. Despite the fact that Harbaugh will be building his offense around a strong running game, any doubts that Herbert's role in the offense will go down are massively overblown. He is still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and this run-heavy scheme is going to take a bit of pressure off his shoulders and make his life easier for him when he does have to drop back to pass. The decision to let Keenan Allen and Mike Williams both walk looked drastic at first, leaving behind a wide receiver room that featured just Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnson, who endured one of the worst rookie seasons we have ever seen from a first-rounder. At first glance, it appeared the Chargers were simply throwing the towel in on their passing game and converting Herbert into the league's most overqualified game manager. Having now let a few more pieces fall into place via the draft and free agency, the picture doesn't look so bleak. The dream scenario for Chargers fans would be for Quentin Johnson to show signs of improvement in his sophomore year, but even if he doesn't, there is still clearly a plan in place. Josh Palmer will likely enter the season as the team's #1 receiver, and while he certainly is a drop down from Keenan Allen, it will be certainly wrong to completely overlook Palmer as someone who can be a very effective receiver for Los Angeles as he enters his 4th season in the league. As a 3rd wide receiver on the depth chart, Palmer had shown at times and compiled 1,350 yards from his 27 games played over the past 2 seasons. He is versatile enough to win inside and out and has a good size and speed combination. He is rock solid in an offense that has an awful lot unknown quantities at that position. The main reason to be excited, though, is the arrival of Ladd McConkey in the 2nd round of the 2024 draft. McConkey is a dazzling route runner with excellent speed and a football IQ. When discussing his selection, Harbaugh referenced his ability to get open and be in the right place at the right time. He's the perfect high-volume guy for Harbaugh's efficiency-based passing attack and someone who should quickly become a popular target for Justin Herbert. With Ladd moving the chains and Palmer offering a bigger target to aim for, the Chargers then have free agent signing DJ Chark to bring some veteran experience downfield and rookie Brendan Rice to offer some potential upside, and in the chance that Quentin Johnson may banish some of the errors that plagued his rookie season, and you can see how this passing attack is starting to come together. Remember, this is year 1 of the rebuild, and there will certainly be opportunities to add more prominent wide receivers next year once the team has developed a little bit more. The plan is set on offense, but it is arguably the defense that the Chargers fans will be even more worried about. The unit seemed to regress under the stewardship of defensive-minded head coach Brandon Staley to the extent that their 363 yards conceded per game was the 28th worst in the NFL. Perhaps to some people's surprises, the Chargers decided to keep the majority of their defense intact, with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa still bookending the defensive line and Derwin James roaming at strong safety. Injuries have been consistent frustration for this unit, but if they can stay healthy, there is certainly talent to work with. Mack is coming off a career-high 17 sacks, and everyone knows just how dominant Joey Bosa is capable of being. Regardless of their age and injury history, if those two are on the field together, the quarterback will be wary. Denzel Perryman adds a hard-hitting veteran presence at linebacker, hopefully taking on a mentorship role for rookie Junior Colson, who's a popular pick in the third round of the 2024 draft. Colson played under Harbaugh at Michigan and will add much-needed toughness to a linebacker group that was amongst the worst in the league in 2023. Asante Samuel Jr. will enter the season as the number one cornerback and will be desperate to perform well in a contract year. He heads up a young secondary that gained a far few acquisitions through the draft. There's work to be done in the Chargers defense, but there are certainly signs of good things to come. It might not be this year that the Chargers are contending, but with Jim Harbaugh at the helm and Justin Herbert locked up for the foreseeable future, legitimate contention is surely not far away. Harbaugh has made a living from turning around struggling teams, and it will be fascinating to see if he can do that once more in LA. What do you think the future holds for the Chargers? Let us know down in the comments.